All right. All righty, you are looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. And why are the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. They lost in the playoffs again because they suck. They got smoked at home in their own building. Torched in the playoffs because they suck. The Dallas Cowboys suck. Man, that never gets old. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here seeing them, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off. 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw it in the chat box. You try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice talking to another Giant fan, right? So before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. Description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon, the second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it means so much to me, and I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And if you can give this video a thumbs up or maybe share the video, that would be absolutely fantastic. And then finally, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a minute. One underneath it is a Twitter link. I'm an old-time fart. Get off my lawn! One of them old-time farts. I hate change. Just hate it. Right? It's Twitter. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, when I'm long gone, it's Twitter. It's Twitter. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I put Giants-related stuff in the Twitter account every day. And then a link just above it takes you to my Facebook group, which is doing simply marvelous, might I add. It's called the New York Giants to Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have about 7,900 members in the group. We're getting so close to 8,000 members in the group. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'll put stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only that, do I put stuff in this group, but the members, if you become a member, members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a boatload. There's a ton. There's an awful lot, you might say, of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants to Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, with all that stuff said and done and out of the way. All right, well, it's Combine week. Yeah. You got to love it, baby, huh? You got to love it. But first, I want to start with something I saw. OC was talking with on Locked On Giants with the good old Patty. She was she had him on talking about what he's been doing with the Giants, talking about the olden days and all that stuff and everything like that. Patricia Traynor from Locked On Giants, Patty Traynor. And she had him on last week. But he was talking about, as I said, he's talking about the Giants and a lot of real good information, and all the stuff he's doing, to help the NFL community. I mean, because if you look at it, right, one thing he brought up, which makes a lot of sense to me, right? Now it goes a couple different ways here, right? He said this. I should know the number, but I don't. But OC mentioned, he says there's like 330 million people, or I'm not sure if it's people in the United States, or if that's altogether, or if that's 330 million guys, or exactly what. But he said I think he said it was like 330 million. But he said in the world there's like 8-9 billion people. So it's just a small fraction of people that live in the United States. Now, although here in the United States, especially if you're looking for football, right? I mean, you got the best of everything here. Training, right? Food, all, coaching, right? If you're going to camps and stuff like that, you're getting the best of the best of the best. You can't go anywhere else, anywhere in the world, even though we have a small portion of people on the planet in the United States. But, if you want to, if you want to become a better athlete, better football player, better, anything, right? Here it is, baby. This is it, the land of the opportunity. So in one respect, the United States has a well, I can't raise my leg. I'm too old. I'll probably throw my back out of it. We got a leg up, shall we say, over the rest of the world as far as stuff like that. But however, that does not mean that there are not unbelievably fantastic, incredible athletes out there, right? And a lot of people, some people don't even know about American football, right? But that's, once again, it doesn't mean that there aren't incredible athletes out there. I mean, you look at what like OC, right? He did not spend a lot of his life living in the United States. He grew up in London, okay. But I mean, they said, but a lot of them, like where he's from, where he grew up at. I mean, there's a lot of really good, talented athletes. And I said, but it's all throughout the world, and it's trying to find, the best athletes, and maybe bringing them in for a tryout. That's all. Because there's some people, might want to try out to be wanting to be an NFL player that lives abroad, and they might hear about his message. There's other people that don't know about his message. Basically what he was talking, he said, just try to find us, or just get some tape or something of showing of what kind of athlete you are. And if you ever watched the interview that he has with Patty Trainer, he goes through it and all everything. But just trying to get OC's attention, right? They like what they see. They might call you in, have you come in for to try you out or whatever. And if they think you're worthwhile, I think he said it's like a 10-week training period or something, like where it's like, it's 24/7 for like 10 weeks of just football knowledge. Maybe they watch some film and all that, but it's training and skills and all that stuff. And they just drill you, for 10 weeks straight. So, I mean, he's trying to, spread the word, So, I mean, there's the athletes out there. I mean, we have phenomenal athletes here. There's no doubt about it. But there's a ton of them out there that, that if they were recognized, okay, and brought up and trained and everything properly, I'm sure there's quite a few athletes out there that could make their way into the NFL here. Right. I mean, the athletes nowadays we got are absolutely incredible. But I mean, you can just see it. I mean, as far as the amount of people that are in the United States compared to the amount of people that are out there, other than the United States, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. So you can see where there'll be quite a few athletes out there, that would certainly be worthwhile giving a shot at, just trying to making it in the NFL, right? But one thing he was talking about, another thing he was talking about was like with Daniel Jones, okay? He was talking with Patty Trainer. I got it here. He said he needs to, kind of work up, or he's getting paid. He needs to play like how he's getting paid. Okay. Of course, now, there's a give and a take. It's kind of tough. I mean, what we had, what happened last year with the Giants, with the offensive line, the injuries. We don't have a plethora. I'll Dan Deerdorf you for a second. A plethora of offensive weapons. We had Darren Waller there, but until he got his hamstring, he missed some time. Saquon missed some time. We got some nice receivers. We don't have a dog. We're not the top 10 We're not even the top 20. Of course, according to some place, we're not even the top 25 or so as far as like weapons, right? So he doesn't have the greatest weapons in the world. We have no offensive line. It's a sieve, right? So I don't know how many people could, really have thrived and survived in that offensive line that the Giants had last season. So, so you got to keep a lot of stuff in context, right? But also some of what he's talking about here is with Daniel Jones is a little, it's got some merit to it. Ximines agrees that Daniel Jones has to play up to what he's getting paid if he's to prove that he's a team's answer moving forward, but also thinks he can do so. For all but 3 of his NFL seasons, retired NFL Giants defensive end Osi Ximines had the luxury of playing on a team with Eli Manning leading the offense, a quarterback whom the players knew that they were getting week in and week out. But when Ximines looks at the current state of his former team, and in particular the situation surrounding incumbent quarterback Daniel Jones, Ximines isn't sure what to make of the most critical position on the offensive side of the ball. OC says, that's a tough question because you can't say how he played, especially toward the second half of 2022, and say, oh, okay, this guy isn't a good quarterback. Which is true. He led us to, 9-7-1. We had 15, but once again, he had 15 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions. Well, give the guy a dog. We didn't have Hyatt, right? We didn't have Waller, right? We had who do we have? Robinson was injured. He got injured, right? We didn't have Waller. Didn't have Hyatt. We don't have a dog, right? Who do we have, right? Evan Neal's getting beat around the edge constantly. We'd have no center, this, that. Who do we have, right? So we went 15-5, took us 9-7-1. Went in the playoffs, right, against the Vikings. He did look really good there. But once again, then we go to Eagles and we wind up getting killed. But once again, we have no offensive line. We have no offensive weapons. What do you expect the guy to do, right? And we're not. And they say, okay, this guy isn't a good quarterback. He said, you can't say that, and we're not going to pay him any money. It doesn't make any sense, right? Ximines told the Locked On podcast to promote the NFL's International Pathway Program. That's what he's involved with. If you're watching, you're like, okay, this guy can play. He is good with his feet. Yes, he is. Accurate passer who can do a lot of things. But then you look at what happened last year, and once you get paid that amount of money as a quarterback or as a player, you can't blame things on everybody else. You just, you understand what I mean? You're referring to the numerous excuses that have been made for Jones over the years. Now, Jones wasn't making excuses for himself. Other people maybe were. Daniel Jones ain't, never going to make excuses for other people. He's going to, I'm sorry, for himself, shall I say. Right? He has to do better. I said, you got the poor offensive line play, the lack of an elite receiver, injuries to the running back, Saquon Barkley, the play calling, and everything else that, as some argued, worked against Jones and just with his contract. He says, you're the guy and you have to find a way to deliver because that's how you're getting paid, right? OC said, you see what all these other quarterbacks do. You see Patrick Mahomes a lot of times. Maybe his receivers are dropping the ball and people are giving him and people are giving him a pass. But in the media world, I say, no, he's getting paid $50 million a year to make everybody else right. So if you're getting paid at the higher echelon of the quarterbacks, like $40 million a year, it's a lot of money. Has to perform better than he performed last year, and he has to play the way he played in 2022. Jones, who per general manager Joe Schoen is expected to start once he receives medical clearance from his torn ACL, could ultimately be facing competition for his job if the Giants bring in a young quarterback within the first or second round of the draft. Ultimately, Ximines believes Jones, who is well known throughout the organization for his work ethic and commitment to his craft, will find a way to get back to playing as he did during the 2022 season. OC said, I believe he's fully capable of doing that. He's a fantastic, smart guy with all the ability in the world. He's a very hard worker. Everybody who I talk to about him says he works tirelessly. So there's no way that he's not going to be able to return that around if given the opportunity. Now, the only thing, it's It is. I mean, you don't know, I mean, like a lot of times, sometimes he's still staring down the one receiver, dropping back the pass, right? Like in that Seattle game, right? Dropping back the pass. Okay, baby, turn around. I'm going to throw it to you. Well, I'm waiting. Okay, turn it around. Okay, you look at me. Look at me. I'm looking at you. Okay, looking. Okay, I got you. You got me. Okay, here, it's coming to you. All right, here it comes. You know what I mean? And there it goes back, 342 yards the other way for a touchdown. I mean, come on. Right? I mean, even I forgot who the defensive back was for the Seattle Seahawks. Said, yeah, we watched film. Yeah, he stares down his receivers. Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's what happens. Yeah. But you also have it goes two ways though, right? One is that how much is that all his fault, or how much of that is maybe some of his fault, and also the realization that if he stands back there more than like 2 seconds, he's going to get his head ripped off, which he basically did last year with the neck injury. I mean, he dropped against the Dolphins. The guy took his head off, injured neck, he's out. With a torn AC, I mean, how many times did he get pounded last year? So how much is that is, okay, let me hurry up. As soon as he turns around, I'm going to throw the ball, right? Because I'm going to get killed, right? Or how much is that he needs to, maybe step it up a little bit? It's tough. I don't know who Patrick Mahomes could have took us to the Super Bowl last season with the weapons we have or don't have, the offensive line that we have or don't have, shall I say. I don't even know if he could, what I'm saying, take us to the promised land. So it's a tough situation. Does he need to play better? Yeah, I think so. Sometimes it just put the team on your back and guys, we're scoring a touchdown. Get on the back. Sometimes you like to see him do stuff like that. You just don't seem to see that much. Does he have the skills? Yeah, he's got the skills. Sure. I mean, as I said, with his feet and all that stuff, he's got the skills. But sometimes also you have to realize, too, everything ain't going to be perfect. You can't drop back the pass, and you're not going to have that horseshoe protection, that pocket, and you stand in the pocket and looking down the field. I'm going to have about 30 seconds back here, so I can survey. I can look at everybody. I can all four of my receivers. I can look at them 4 or 5 times because it's not that's not happening. So sometimes you have to get out or whatever, make things happen on your own. I mean, if everything has to be perfect for them, we got to have all our weapons. We got to have 3 or 4 real good wide receivers, all healthy, and we got to have a dog of maybe. No, we're not going to get Marvin Harrison Jr., but I mean, somebody like, we got a dog of a wide receiver. Hyatt's healthy, Robinson's healthy, Slayton's healthy, Waller's healthy, Bellinger's healthy, Saquon's healthy, an offensive line. We got the best offensive line in football. I mean, that's what we need for him to take us to the Super Bowl. I mean, we might be waiting a long time, so, but, he does need to, play a little bit better, but also, we do need to get a team around him too. But Oshie's got a good point. I mean, you want, not that he's, I'd be hard pressed to have any quarterback out there work more hard or diligently than he does, put in more time than Daniel Jones. There's probably nobody out there that puts the time in. So he puts the time in behind the scenes stuff you don't know about, all right, or you don't hear about it or don't see, shall we say, right? But, that has to also translate onto the field, too. I mean, you can do all the stuff behind the scenes. That's all great, but, you have to see some product on the field as well, too. So, once again, it's so hard with them. You see there's flashes of the way he can run, and he's got a good touch and all that stuff. But then also, once again, you got to put a better team around too. I mean, he's never had a number 1 wide receiver, right? I mean, he's never had a good offensive line. I mean, a lot of times Saquon's hurt. I mean, a lot of times, I don't know. I don't even remember how many snaps last season Saquon, Daniel Jones, and Andrew Thomas played together. Because once after the first drive against the Cowboys and Andrew Thomas gets hurt, right? I think he finished the rest of the game, but then he missed a bunch of time. And then when he came back. And then the second week, Saquon got injured. He missed like 3 games. And then Daniel Jones got injured. He came back, then he got injured again. It's like we don't even have the same guy, have our best players on offense on the field at the same time, right? And then of course, you get the Waller missing games here and there because of his hamstring. We don't have a number 1 wide receiver. It's so it's a tricky situation. But Oshie, it does have some merit to it. That's for darn gone, sure. And then, of course, it's Combine week, and the one thing is it's you got guys some guys will be there, some guys won't be there. They'll have their own pro day. Some guys will be there and they'll just do certain things. They may not. Some of the quarterbacks may not throw, or they may, because a lot of it with the quarterbacks, it's all, when you're there and you're throwing, you're not throwing to your own guys. Your own guys, how they round off a route, or how this, or how whatever, where they like the balls at and stuff like that. So a lot of guys, they figure they go there and they start throwing the ball, and they're like, "Ooh, see that pass? Ooh, you see it? Ooh, you see that?" And the stock starts. You can also look at it too, like at the combine. It starts with an A. It's called adversity, right? And you're gonna have a lot of that in the pros, right? I mean, you're not in Alabama anymore, sweet toots, right? Okay, you don't, or you're not in Ohio State, or you're not like LSU with Daniels, right? He's gonna have like 2 first-round wide receivers running around out there. With Kelly as the coach there, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I wish he had 2 first-round wide receivers at Notre Dame, right? It just goes to show you that Notre Dame, because of the, not everybody can make it to Notre Dame, whereas in LSU or Alabama, they have a capability of getting more guys, better athletes than Notre Dame can, or more of them, shall we say? But anyway. But but it's called adversity, and also too. I mean, it's kind of like and I can understand it. You have a bad day or something like that. Maybe you're not the second quarterback. Maybe now you're the third quarterback that gets taken off the boards. It is what it is. But as once again I said, it's called adversity. And if you have a hard time now at the combine throwing to different guys, well, when you're getting drafted, by teams 1 and first, second, or third position, whatever, guess what? They suck. You gotta have a lot of adversity there because they suck. That's why they're picking one. That's why not so much the Bears, because the Bears got the Carolina pick, right? Because Carolina sucks, but because they made a trade. But that's why the Bears aren't that much of a juggernaut either. But the first bunch of picks, they're not very good. So if you're having a hard time with the adversity at a combine, just think what's going to happen when you're in the pros, right? So, you could go with it, make the best of the situation, or you can just back off and just say, I'm going to have my own pro day. I'm going to have my own place, right? I'm going to be indoors or whatever. I'm going to throw it to my own receivers who I know, and I'm going to look good. I'm going to, look as good as I can. So it is what it is. But once again, it's always a very exciting week. Very, very, very exciting week. So, but Joe Schoen did talk, but I got this article here. It says 9 questions that Joe Schoen must answer at the NFL Combine. Now, part of this also, now he does have, he does like 2 interviews, right? He does where he's at the podium and he's talking, I think like 15 minutes or so. He answering a bunch of questions. Somehow, I have no idea. I have no idea. Once again, I have no idea how Jordan Renan is always the first one to ask a question. I have no idea. Every time it's Jordan Renan asking, first one to answer. But anyway, but but he was there for about 15 minutes. But then also what he does too, and I'm not sure if all the other GMs do this or not, but what he does too is he'll go in like in a back room or in a hallway or something like that, and he fields some questions too. For I don't know if he's there for 15 minutes or another half an hour, whatever it is, but he does it on camera and then he does it off camera. So the first 15 minutes, whatever questions he gets asked there, then he'll answer a plethora of other questions off camera. So as I said, I'm not sure if all GMs do that or not, but Joe Schoen winds up doing that. So Joe Schoen, I mean, you got to give the man 2 thumbs up for being there, answering the questions, answering a lot of questions all. But he did kind of like, kind of play it safe, right? The way he was answering some of the questions and all. But I saw this article. It says questions they needs to answer. But one of them has the belief in Daniel Jones waned at all? Why did you jump on the headset last season for Daboll, which I'm going to go over in my last little bit here? What went wrong between Daboll and Wink? I'm not sure if they asked that. I don't think I heard anything about that. That might have been maybe they might have asked him that maybe off camera or whatever. Do you believe Kafka should continue calling plays? I didn't hear nothing about that. What is Saquon Barkley's value? Of course, they asked that there was questions about. And also they're asking questions about Xavier McKinney as well, too. Now, of course, what wound up happening was, he said they just got there and they plan on having talks. He said, I know their representation. I know, we have good rapport with them. I know so-and-so from Xavier McKinney, which I'm going to go over with him in just a minute. Shane was talking about that. We know, Xavier's, agents and all of that. We got a good rapport with them. So we're going to talk about them, see where they're at and all that and everything. Nobody's talking about, there's other guys, but they just basically we talked about those two. I didn't hear anything about like Isaiah Simmons or Adoree Jackson or some of these other guys at all. But he mentioned about possibly keeping both those guys, Saquon and Xavier. Also, because of quite possibility, right? Because the salary cap went up, and he even talked about it at the combine when he was talking. Yeah, we're trying to play it safe. He was like, saying like, we were kind of playing. We kind of think maybe the cap was maybe 241, maybe 243. So we were kind of playing it with that. But then I think he said he was watching film or something like that, and nobody else was around or something, whatever. And then he got an email, a text, or an email, something from the office, the league office, and he maybe it was an email, or whatever it was, and he opened it up and he looked at it. He saw the cap was 255. He was like, whoa, So that might change things a little bit. I'm not sure if that's going to elevate at all what they're going to pay Saquon, at all, or maybe Xavier, but now it makes it possible when maybe they can bring both guys back. But I'm going to go over Xavier in a minute or so here. But he did talk about those guys. Let's see here. We got why the injuries? I didn't hear him talk about anything about injuries, especially just in the 15 minutes. Oh, he says, are the Giants open to trading up in the 2024 NFL draft? He did talk about that. He was talking about the quarterbacks. He expects Daniel Jones to be the starter. When week one, as soon as he's ready, when he's healthy, he expects him to be the starter. But the Giants have to, obviously get at least a quarterback or so. Now, obviously, he was talking about whether he's got to open to anything, moving up, staying where he's at, maybe going back or whatever. The question here is, can you continue to rely on Evan Neal? I'm not sure if anybody asked him that, but I don't. He didn't say nothing like that. And when he was speaking at the podium, so, but he, obviously he's he's opened up to a lot of things. So but obviously one of his is getting a good eye on some of these guys. Now, also a lot of it's just not even so much like what they do, in the skills department and everything. A lot of it has to do with their medicals. I mean, guys like Penix. I mean, Penix, somebody like him could be huge for the Giants. Nix, Penix, McCarthy, the Rattle Man, Rattler, Spencer. Which I'll tell you what, I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on him, right? But I mean, somebody like with, as I said, with Penix. I mean, with the injury history he has. I mean, it's how did they happen? Is it freak injuries? Is it something that might linger? But why does he keep getting injured all the time? I mean, some guys, like Eli Manning, he gets pummeled time after time after he gets up off the ground, right? I mean, like Brett Favre. Brett Favre played for however many games in a row. I mean, there was times he was injured and stuff like that, but he would get up. But other guys, they get hit a couple times and they're out for the season. So I mean, so like injury reports, I said like Penix. I mean, somebody like huge, but also talking to the guys face to face, right? I don't know how many interviews they get while they're at the combine, but I mean, if they get guys coming in, at the stadium or whatever, and they talk to them and everything like that, that stuff is huge. There's all kinds of stuff they can ask and to see where the guys' minds are at. They're focused on football, how much they love football. Do they like to win more than they hate to lose? Because some we like guys that want to win, but even more, we want guys that hate to lose. I mean, some of those guys are those are the. But I mean, as I said, just talking to the guys is huge. I mean, of course it's nice to see what their times are. Of course, you'll get every now and then you'll get that somebody runs a 4 in the 4.2s and it's like, whoa, or somebody, maybe a wide receiver breaks under 4.4 or something like that. And you're like, whoa, so. But it's once again, it's interesting. There's a lot of guys to look at because, let's not forget the Giants got was that 5 of the first 107 or first 108 picks the Giants have. It's like 4 in the top 70. You can do some damage with that. Of course, unless you wind up, maybe if they trade up, maybe to get a quarterback or whatever. But I mean, you should get 4 nice players. The top 70, you can get 4 players that should be able to almost immediately help your team. Right, so it'll wind up being huge week. Then, of course, you got Xavier McKinney. Xavier McKinney sends cryptic tweets as free agency looms. And now the one thing, I haven't heard from it all or anything like that. It was, like with Saquon, and now Saquon wants to get paid and all that stuff and everything. I understand that and get it, but. I mean, with Saquon, at least you hear him saying it. His mouth opens up and it comes out. Yeah, I like being here. Hey, they know where my heart's at. They know I want to be here. But you hear that. Well, okay. Whether he means it or not, at least he's saying it, right? You hear it. Oh, okay. Yeah, he wants it. Oh, okay. But you're not hearing that from Xavier. Yeah, I tell you what, I think we're on to something here. They drafted me. It gets me right here, man. New York, you cut me. I'm bleeding blue. I love it here. We're building something. We got a nice core young guys here. Let's add some more pieces to the puzzle. Let's see where we can take this, man. I don't want to leave here. Come on, man. These guys are drafting. You don't hear that. It's all like, it's basically, white men can't jump, right? Is that the? No, that's not it. Oh, no, that's not it. The Austin. No, whatever it is. With Tom Cruise in there. I can't remember. He's the agent. Show me the money. Right? Basically, that's what it sounds like, Xavier. I want to be appreciated. Well, that means that the most money that gets thrown to me, that's the appreciation I'm going to get. So it's not really so sure Xavier, and maybe if the Giants throw the most money at him, well, maybe he'll feel that, so. But as I said, it doesn't sound like, he just He just show me the money. That's basically what I'm getting from him, right? Says that John safety Xavier McKinney is still without a contract for the 2024 NFL season and could very well become an unrestricted free agent when the new league year begins on March 13th. Now, also, I mean, some of this too is also, they could have done something with him maybe last year, maybe extended him or something like that, but they didn't do that. They saw Joe Schoen go to Girly World, throw money at Andrew Thomas and Sexy Dexy and Daniel Jones, and they franchise tagged Saquon. We gave him some bonuses that maybe he can get over $11 million and stuff like that, but he didn't wind up getting that because they didn't make the playoffs. But so he's seen some money getting thrown around, quite a bit of money. I mean, if you look at Daniel Jones, right? Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas, Saquon, all this stuff. A lot of money got thrown around. You figure between well over $250 million, 160 for Daniel Jones. I don't know, whatever, 90 or whatever for Sexy Dexy. I don't know what it was, 90 or so for Andrew Thomas, right? See, maybe $350 million or something, and you throw Saquon in there, 35% of $1 billion gets thrown around, and McKinney's like, "Do you want to maybe extend my contract and all everything?" So maybe he feels a little slighted, right? And all he did, last year was play every snap, right? He did a very, very good job. And I said, but the one thing is now with Bowen, the new defensive coordinator, this might be something where Xavier might really excel. So instead of having him in the box or something down close to the action, he might works better back, right? Where he sees the field, the whole field. He sees everything's in front of him, right? He sees the eyes of the quarterback, which ways he's going here. Okay, you know what I mean? That's where he might excel. It might be in Bowen's system, but is it too little, too late? No, we'll have to wait and see. I have to wait and see what. And I said, I hear stories about them maybe putting a transition tag on Xavier. Who knows? Let's see here. But he might become an unrestricted free agent when a new league year begins on March 13th. The Giants had an opportunity to ink the 2020 second-round pick out of Alabama to a long-term deal over the past year, but either failed or did not choose to do so. McKinney had his best season as a pro in 2023 and established himself as a solid safety, but was it enough for the Giants to look past his prior shortcomings? Let's not forget that McKinney violated his contract in 2022 when he injured his hand in an ATV accident during the Giants' bye week that cost him the second half of the season. But then also, they did pay him though too. They could have, said, well, that's you voided your contract or whatever. You went against your contract, violated your contract, right? So we don't have to pay it. But as far as I know, they did pay him. Okay, he hurt his hand in an ATV accident, right? Which cost him basically the second half of the season. And they didn't have to pay him, but they did. So this year, McKinney was critical of the team's coaches, citing communication issues, but that might have been with Wink Martindale, who's no longer there. Even though that complaint was merited after the departure of coordinator Wink Martindale, the Giants may not have appreciated the manner in which McKinney aired the rift publicly, that's true. That's quite possibly it's true. All that being said, McKinney appears to be lobbying for an extension from the Giants, reminding them of his existence on social media. So this one, we'll go back to February 16th, and we'll work our way toward the future here. So February 16th, about 10 days ago. I want to be appreciated every way for what I do and bring to the table as a player and as a leader. I've stood by myself 10 toes through the critics, the hate, etc., sacrificing what those around me didn't want to or were afraid to for those same people to make it to make it a better situation for all of us. May not always have been beneficial for me, but it was for us. Don't let that go over your head, and I'll do it 10 times over again. Okay, all right. And then another one on February 20th, so 4 days later. Xavier says, earned everything I got. Nothing has been given. No, and he says something like no cap. It looks like maybe it's a thumbs up or a finger up, something like that. No cap. I'm not sure what that means, but. And then recently on the 25th, so basically like 2 days ago, never go where you're tolerated, only go where you are appreciated. And then he has the same thing. I'm not sure if that's the finger like this, fingers crossed, or the fingers up, or I'm not. Well, hold on, let me see here. Can I open this up? The fingers crossed. Okay, he's got the fingers crossed emoji. I'm not sure what that's got to do with anything, but he's got never go where you're tolerated, only where you're appreciated. So appreciated obviously means show me the money. That's what I'm getting from there. Show me the money. You show me the money, and I'll be appreciated. So. Then he goes on, so the Giants could simply re-sign McKinney before the new league year if the numbers mesh, or they could allow him to hit the open market and take their chances. Another option is the franchise tag, which would cost them approximately $16 million for this year. Now, well, the lesser option is the transition tag, which is approximately $13 million. Odds are the Giants are madly in love with McKinney at the moment and are playing the market. We'll know soon enough how much they feel about their defensive captain as the tag deadline on March 5th and free agency begins a week after that. So, I mean, they also look at, what do they have on, do they think Javarius Owens can start stepping up a little bit this season? What do they think about the Belton-Pinnock combo? If they think they can rock and roll with those two guys, let's not forget we have, 5 picks in the first 107 or 108. They can certainly draft a safety. I'm not hearing much as far as like high, some like a safety in the first round or anybody. So if the top safeties out there might be a second round or third round pick. So the Giants between second and third at 3 picks. Once again, let's not forget the Giants have a lot of holes, and you're not going to fill them all one. Right? If they draft an edge rusher in the 4th round, well, that may not be somebody to come in and really help. That might be just somebody for some depth. If they draft a safety in the 4th round, or say the 5th round, that'd be just maybe for some depth. That may not be somebody to come in and take Xavier's spot. That just might be some depth. If they draft a guard in the 4th or 5th round, that might be some, or tackle. Say they draft a tackle in the 4th round or the 3rd round. Well, that may not be a starter, right? That might be for their swing tackle. Let's not forget Phillips is hurt, right? So, if they don't have anybody on the team that they think can be a swing tackle, they might draft a tackle in the 3rd round because there's some good tackles out there without question. So, maybe draft somebody in the 3rd round, but they grab the tackle in the 3rd round, and it's not like somebody, okay, so we're going to move Evan Neal into guard. We got this guy from Texas A&M, whatever, we're going to put him at right tackle. No, the guy that they bring in the 3rd or 4th round might be the swing tackle. So, we got a lot of holes, and you're not going to fill them all in free agency in the draft this season. I said, between this season and next season, right, we figure we're going to have some money next season to spend in free agency. We got some money to spend. Right? And you got 2 good drafts, right? 2 good drafts. So between this season and next season, you got 2 first-round picks, and you have, as of right now, right? And you got 3 second-round picks. So that's 5 guys in the first 2 rounds. That's almost a quarter of your starting 22. Those 5 guys should be big-time contributors, if not starters, for your team. So, and I said, then you put those 5 starters in. Right. I just imagine, right? I said, we got to, I don't know what they're going to do with the quarterback. I don't know. But I'm saying, say we draft a cornerback, right? These next 5 picks between this season and next season, right? We draft a cornerback. So we got a cornerback and Deontay Banks. Then we draft an edge rusher, right? May not be as good as Kayvon, but you draft somebody in the 2nd round, should give you some production. Or maybe next year we draft an edge rusher in the 1st round. Or maybe we grab an edge rusher in free agency, right? I'm saying we just say we draft an edge rusher in the 1st round next season. Now you got the guy, and then you have Kayvon, right? Then we draft maybe a safety in the 2nd round, so to replace Xavier, right? And then we can also draft, or maybe you get somebody in free agency or something. You got to put somebody next to Sexy Dexy, right? But I'm saying, but then also, like say this year, maybe we grab Dunze, right? Now you got your wide receiver, and then we draft an offense, a guard or something like that in the second round this year or whatever. Those 5 picks, now you're really starting to fill in, right? Now you start adding some depth and all, but now a lot of your holes are taken care of between this season and next season. It's not all, he's not going to wave his magic wand and boom, all our problems are gone. I mean, I was listening today. Somebody was even talking like the Chiefs, on Big Blue Kickoff Live. I forgot who they were talking to. Might have been the guy from Pro Football Network, Pro Football Focus or Network or something. But he was talking about even the Chiefs they got a lot of issues. They won the Super Bowl and all, but they got issues. A lot of teams are way over the cap. A lot of teams. But I'm saying, but between this season and next season, between the 2 drafts, and I said, let's not forget the 3rd round picks we got, a 3rd round of this year, a 3rd round of next year, right? Then you got the later round picks, maybe add in some depth, right? You can do a lot of damage in the next 2 seasons, right? I said, and then you got, the free agency this season, and next season we're going to have some money next season. We'll have some money to spend as well. So between the 2, we should be able to do some damage, without question. Because I said, we're not going to the Super Bowl this season. We need to improve upon what we did last. We need to improve upon 6-11. Let's get to 500 or above, and maybe knocking on the door of the playoffs this season. I said that next season, maybe we can take another step, right? And then finally, Joe Schoen, he addressed Brian Daboll's temper. Giants coach Brian Daboll created a toxic work environment last season. According to Pat Leonard of the New York Daily News, Daboll folded under pressure, which is, something he has to get a better grasp of. That's for sure. He blamed others and couldn't maintain his composure. Giants general manager Joe Schoen listened in on conversations during games because of these issues. After finishing with a 6-11 record, Daboll fired special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee and a group of other assistants. Daboll had a rocky relationship with, obviously, Wink Martindale, who parted ways with the team and went to Michigan. He replaced Martindale with Shane Bowen. Given the turnover on the staff, Shane was asked if Daboll needs to handle his staff differently than his first 2 years as a head coach. And Shane gave the answer you figure he was going to say, something along the lines. He's like, we are all going to learn and grow over time, but we have to, Shane told reporters at the NFL Scouting Combine on Tuesday. It's the first time we went through adversity. I'm sure there was a lot that we all learned about ourselves going through that, and as leaders, myself included. We've all got to get better in terms of how we handle those situations, and I think we are all going to reflect this offseason on how things went and what we can do better. And I would put Daboll in that category as well. And of course, things got so bad that one staffer told an assistant candidate to not accept a position with the Giants, a source told Leonard. Daboll took away Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka's play calling duties only to return them later, which confirmed a previous report from The Athletic. Let's see, we got Kafka received the brunt of Daboll's fury and was not given full autonomy of the offense. He would make Kafka run the ball, and then if he called a run, Daboll didn't like it, and he would curse, basically, either curse him or something. Or Shane denied an uneasiness exists between Daboll and Kafka, who interviewed for 2 head coaching positions this offseason. There is no tension there, Shane said. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the answer you expect him to give you. Mike's a really good coach. He's a great teammate. He's an asset around the building, and he's a young coach that's been a coordinator for 2 years, and we've elevated him to a new title, assistant head coach, because we are going to continue to develop him as a head coach. Cool. That's good. That's good. Obviously, there's a lot of for him around the league. He's in demand. He was a finalist for 2 jobs over the last couple of years, and he's earned it. He's a really good coach that's got a bright future, and he's got an asset to this organization. There's no tension between Mike and Daboll. Well, I mean, that's the good thing from him. That's kind of what you expect him kind of to say. There's no tension. I mean, he's not gonna. Oh yeah, they're pissed off at each other. Oh, woo, I mean, the same thing with Wink going on, right? I mean, when Wink and maybe button heads. Damn, that's pretty good. or Dabes was saying something. The only thing me and Wink fight over is the last slice of pizza. That's all. We're good. Same thing when we talk about Daniel Jones and stuff like that. Oh no, yeah, we believe it. It was all kind of the vanilla kind of answers. Everybody was asking him questions. Everything was kind of like, So I'm sure I'm sure he was doing a little bit of fibbing on each answer. How much was he fibbing? Maybe he was fibbing a lot more in certain answers than he was in other ones, but it is what it is. He gave the answers that you pretty much expected him to give you, but he's got a lot of work to do. As I said, we're building. It's a building process, right? And, got a long way to go. As I said, can we build this season from last season, right? We're losing some guys, but let's bring in some more guys. Okay. Hopefully we can get 3 or 4 studs, real good guys, in the draft here to add to the team, bring in a couple good free agents, right? So that'll be this season. Then you go next season, you start adding a few more studs in through the draft, maybe bring in another, maybe 1 or 2 free agents, and then you get a bunch of depth behind that. Maybe we're starting to knock on a division title or something like that. But we need to add because we're losing a lot of guys, right? And the problem is that we had holes last season, and we're losing guys, right? So obviously now we're going to have even more holes. So, but hopefully as we go along, we start drafting some guys, we develop the guys, we keep the guys, and move forward that way. But I mean, the one thing is that it makes it very difficult with the salary cap, especially because it's going up. It's never going to wind up being, the salary cap went up. That means you can keep more of your guys, right? You can keep easier to build the team now because once the salary cap goes up, everybody else's salary goes up. So, and of course, and all it takes is like one team. There's a good. Whatever. It doesn't happen that often, but if there's a real good guard or wide receiver or anybody, get except for maybe a running back, but gets it hits the free agent market, right? And then there's a bidding war for him. All it takes is like one team, right, to throw a whole bunch of money. I say there's a real good tight end out there, and the top tight end's making 17. Well, there's a bidding war going for this one tight end. Okay, and this one team has $100 million in salary cap, and they throw, hey, we'll throw $20 million at you, right? Well, right. So the tight ends go, I'll take $20 million. Well, so now the tight end market, boom, goes up to $20 million. It was at 17 because this one team threw a bunch of money at free agent player X, right? Now the salary cap goes up to $20 million for the tight ends. So the tight ends go up, and it just happens with all of them. And of course, it's always the same. It's always like pick a position, doesn't matter. Defensive tackle, offensive tackle, quarterback, whatever, right? I mean, like what's Dak, right? I mean, I'm seeing reports, right, where that Dak wants $60 million. Well, because that's all it is that what's the market at? What's it, 55? Okay, well, I want 60, or I want 56 or 56. I mean, it's so as soon as the next person that comes up that gets paid, he has to get paid more than the top of the other one. So then the market gets reset. It's not like, well, Dak, okay, well, so-and-so, the guy who's making 55, that's Patrick Mahomes, okay? So you're not as good as Patrick Mahomes, so we'll give you 50. Have you won 3 Super Bowls? Have you been to a Super Bowl? Have you won? How many playoff games have you won? You been to a championship game? No, anything? No? Okay, all right. So you want more than 55? What's going on here? I'm sorry, I'm a little lost here. What's but that's not the way it goes. Yeah, it's not the way it goes. Yeah. So it's like whoever the top quarterback is, if the next guy comes along, next guy, like whoever it is, Herbert, whoever, Burrow, whoever gets paid, he's going to get more. Then the next guy gets paid, he's going to get more. Then you get more. anymore. I said, it's not like, as I said, it's, you take offensive tackles, right? Well, the offensive tackle, it's $25 million. So I'm in the top echelon of tackles, right? The top is at 25. So I'm going to get 26. That's the way it goes. 26, 20. So unfortunately, because it does, the caliber of play doesn't get better. The guys make more money, right? Everything costs more money, but the guys don't. The caliber of play doesn't get better. The guys just fight for more money. That's all they do. But I'm saying, just because the salary cap went up to $300 million, it doesn't mean you can bring in more guys, because everybody's salary is really going to skyrocket then. Right? So it is what it is. But a lot of stuff going on this week. Combine. Be back again tomorrow night. We'll talk some more Combine. All right, guys. It's been 55 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you. It's from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.